Going live. What the hell? 15 minutes early. It is now live. Yay. Yay for life. There is life in this planet. At least they think there's life in this planet. Sometimes I listen to people and go, yeah, there's no life there.
Well, there's plenty of life, just little intelligence at the moment.
Oh, no. That's not life. Life is... part of intelligence is life, but... there's no intelligence, there's no life. Listen to some of the things. So I've got some interesting clips for the couple, I think I've pulled 4 clips from early shows and the original show opener.
Cool.
Took me a while to find stuff. I couldn't remember where I stashed it last time, so I basically had to go back and download the episodes and clip it from the original episodes.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Well, it's I could remember where I did these big things. So, because we usually did them at big ones such as at 200, 300, 400. At the big milestones.
So this time, make sure that when you save the clips, you save them somewhere where you'll actually remember.
Yeah, well, I do that. But the problem is what happens is I fill up hard drives and then I have to move stuff around and I move data to a new hard drive and I forget which hard drive it's on. I mean, I've only got 6 hard drives sitting on my desk, 4 of them are 8 terabytes size and, they're packed to the gills. I barely have any storage space left. I got to buy myself another 8 terabyte drive and start loading data onto it.
Don't you put specific things on the specific?
I've been working on that. For a while there, it was all on one drive, and then as the years went by, it got scattered across drives. And I've been working on consolidating it into proper drives. It takes a long time. When you're moving terabytes worth of data, it takes a long time to move it.
Yeah. I can
Even when it's local, it takes a long time to move it. You're too quiet. Okay, why are you too quiet? Oh, I know why you're too quiet.
Me?
Yeah, you. I just got a text that says your voice is too quiet. Talk.
Okay, I will talk. There's an echo.
Okay.
The echo is still there? No, echo's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It was only there for a moment.
I had to adjust the input volume for you.
Okay.
Can't hear. Can you hear her now? Talk.
Can you hear me now? Am I still? Yeah. Sorry. Got distracted for a moment. Distraction is kind of a thing. You know that scroll clip you play? You should probably play that every time I go quiet because 9 times out of 10 I'm getting distracted by one of the kids writing a note for me or demanding my attention. Exactly.
I got us a party horn too.
Party horn.
Yeah, we'll play that at the beginning of the show.
Cool.
I couldn't find the one to steal for no agenda, but I found enough stuff where I actually went and made my own. So I have my own this time. I don't have theirs. I think mine's cooler because I created it. That's a bit better. All right. So we got you. Oh, that was dumb.
What'd you do? Undo all the work?
No. I've set my recording device and I tried to set it to record and it didn't record anything.
Oh, that's odd.
No, that's because I forgot to push the little button on here that's for record. There's a little button. There's 2 buttons that got to be put, or 2 little buttons that got to be pushed on my recording software. Got to push the little one up in the corner, then you got to push the start record button. Well, I started the record button, but it didn't record, so that's why I was looking for it.
I like making it really easy, don't they?
There we go. Let's see. We need it over here. There we go. It doesn't work very fast. I'm going to have to oil it or something to make it go faster. I want one of the really old ones from the old ones that had an actual steel ball in them.
Yeah.
And those ones there, just like they made this really ultra high ding. This one's cool though. I like this one, but I'm gonna hunt down one of those really old ones.
Lots of shops have them still.
What's that? No, they're not. They're all made in China. They're not made with very good quality. I mean, this one's made in China. It doesn't say it on it, but I guarantee it's made in China. Everything made in China is cheap.
No, I'm talking about the shops around town that, at least the ones that haven't closed down yet, they tend to have like these really old bells on the counters, and they're not new looking, they're old.
Well, I think they'd be upset if I went in there and stole one, though.
True. Yeah. Very true. There's an antique shop that's managed to survive downtown. Pretty cool.
Well, good for them. They must have money in the bank to get through the...
This is a scam.
That's what they had to get through. They had to get through the scam.
I was taking a walk through downtown not too long ago, and I was just astounded by the amount of blank windows.
Yeah, well, you got even more businesses are going to close over the next couple of months. Many businesses have just gone under. Not a lot of people have been able to survive, and it's an unfortunate thing.
Even Starbucks is closing down.
Yep. Yeah, well, if somehow they thought they could do curbside pickup, no, people don't care about that for Starbucks. The only reason they went to Starbucks was for the free Wi-Fi and a place to escape their home and work on their laptops, man. They didn't go there for the high-quality coffee.
Well, it is very high quality if you like dark roast, but most people actually don't like dark roast. They prefer medium or light. They just don't realize it.
Well, that's I heard a nice discussion about that the other day. It's a dark roasted coffee, and then they serve it up with lots of cream and sugar and flavorings to hide the dark roast flavor.
Yep. Which is funny.
Well, the problem is like anything that is franchised out, the food has to taste the same, or the drinks have to taste exactly the same in Seattle, where it was created, as they taste in London, Ontario. The coffee should be exact, and the only way to get that exact same taste, the same way McDonald's does it, is all the stuff's manufactured in one central plant and shipped everywhere. They're not allowed to do stuff on their own. That's the secret to franchising. That's why franchises are so ridiculous, and everything is the same taste no matter where you go. That's why you always go hunt down the individual restaurants and owners, because they'll create good stuff for you.
Yeah.
Because they're not tied into whatever the franchise says you have to do.
Something else that's interesting about coffee is that the dark roast, which is what a lot of the franchise shops use, the dark roast has the least amount of caffeine in it.
Oh, really?
The dark roast has the least amount of caffeine. And the blonde roast, the light roast, has the most amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
The more you make the beans sweat, the more it kills the caffeine.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I should put some light roast coffee into my emergency stash for the future.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. If you cover them in dark chocolates, it'll also keep them from becoming too dry and more like slivers when you try to chew them.
Let's see what we got. I've got all the notes already. Got everything up. We've got our artwork. We got some call outs back to ancient times of this show. First show actually aired back in October of 2010.
Wow.
It was 4 minutes long. And
What'd you do? Just kind of go and say, "Hey, everyone, bye."
Well, sort of. I grabbed the snippet from I think I grabbed the snippet from this show. Yeah, I grabbed the snippet from the original show, but I looked at it because I had to go find it, and I couldn't find it. And of course, I'll go, I've got it on my website. Just go into johnoverall.com, and you can't find it under episode because it's not labeled as episode. Put a link in the show notes to it, though. So it's really horrendous. I'm listening to it going, wow, God, what the hell was I thinking? The sound is crap, and but that's the thing, is it's really, really entertaining. But that was it's almost 11 years now, 10 and a half years since the first show.
Wow.
Since the first show aired, and I've been fairly consistent week over week, only missing a week here or a week there. Need a vacation and a break every once in a while from something. But just to be able to keep it going for 500 episodes of weekly episodes, it's like, and it's no wonder you find so many podcasts out there have died after their first 2 or 3 months. You know, they get to about between episode 10 and 30, they die. And that's usually because, well, it's actually work to continuously do a podcast week after week after week.
Yep.
You know, come up with the content, figure out what to do. Well, it's time for us to put in some music for some, well, not quite. We got another 30 seconds here. Anyway, put in some stuff week after week. Screw it. We'll go now. Let's have some good music and some bad singing. Off we go till showtime.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, we'll move it right along. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chigger, just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, is it yours or is it mine?
Most definitely mine.
Your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devils at a crossroads, jokers doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Oh yeah. It is showtime. Let's get this one wound up and ready to rock and roll and just pull us right up into a brand new thing. So let's go. Off we go. Let's wind this puppy up. All Googly Eyed. It's episode 500. And we have plugins for Bitcoin, animated menu, getting sticky, media organization, crypto conversion, and multi-currency, and ClassicPress Options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever-lovely
Amber Overall.
And it is episode 500 of the WP Plugins A-Z podcast. Yes, we've finally made it. Coming right on in here, man. Got the party horns and everything. As I drown them right down. We have made it to episode 500. I'd like to give a big shout out to all of you, our producers, our listeners, for getting this show to episode 500. This time last year, I was contemplating killing the show, but some new life has been breathed into it, and we are moving forward. One thing that would be great is to have more contributions. I know I contribute in small ways to the show. Oh, wait a sec. I know I contribute in small ways to the show I listen to. Oh, wait, that was me. Okay. Now, it'd be great to have more contributions to this show. I know one thing I do is I contribute in small ways to shows that I listen to. While I may not always get the acknowledgement from those shows, I still know I hear things that I've submitted to them that they use, so hey, at least I know my little contribution to them helps. And the reason for that is, of course, you can't do everything, but if you run across something that may be of interest, fire it our way. You know, just like you probably do to other shows or other things you listen to, fire stuff to them. You know, make sure one other thing you do, take a look at the new system we have for submitting artwork to the show over at the WP Plugins A-Z.com artwork. And this is something that has been introduced just recently, last week, I believe. And what it's for is for us to showcase all of the artwork and for an easy way for your artwork to get submitted and showcased and shown off to everyone. In fact, if you want to contribute to the show, one thing we need is the over 100 pieces of art we have in inventory right now need to be inserted into this. I haven't had time yet to do much more with it, but eventually I will, but it'd be nice if someone would step forward for that. So you can go view the artwork for episode 500, and we'll be talking more about that here later, but that's all available up there on the artwork. It is also a quick reminder to let everyone know we're in the 49th week of 2 weeks to flatten the curve from the Rona. We're almost at 1 year solid of this.
Yep.
It's in the greatest ever.
This is a scam.
Perpetrated on the entire world all at once. Prepare now for the annual holiday of only 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Now, I do like to recognize and acknowledge the No Agenda show for their stolen sound clips, which we've used a couple already. Not the horns, those were actually mine. This is a value for value show, and I look forward to everyone providing some value back. You think I got drunk or stoned before this show? Not today, though. Man. Before I get too far down the road, though, towards the end, we're going to have some trips down memory lane with some nostalgic looks at a couple of clips and such I pulled from old shows to show you where this show was and where it is now. And also hang around for the Q&A section of the show, which is a questions and answer with Amber. At the end of the show, we split that in two. Half of it goes to those of you listening to the podcast through stream or through downloads. The other half goes into the YouTube channel. So if you want to hear the whole thing, you got to go watch it on the YouTube channel. All right, and we do have a link in here to take you all the way back to the first episode of WP Plugins A-Z, which was introduced October 18th, 2010. So it goes all the way back to there. And that show is over on my website at johnoverall.com, where all these shows can be found, along with the WP Plugins A-Z.com website. Well, enough with that.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
So this is number 8 of 52 episodes for 2021, and it's episode 500. It really is honestly exciting for how long the show has been going. And I think it's pretty awesome that I get to be part of it. I haven't really been on this show very long, but I've definitely enjoyed watching it kind of morph into what it is right now. And we are...
Keep going. I just drinking.
Okay. We were going to have a little bit of a fun competition, the plugins part today, just a friendly little one. But I just kind of automatically win, so...
Yeah, well, we'll get to that part later.
And as I don't have much else to add to that, just the zone up spaces now. People should especially be getting zone up spaces these days. They're really quite easy to set up. Just do the following. Retreat from the world to under a blanket, curl up on a couch, listen to some shows with no news hours or to books. And don't forget to drink hot or cold, don't forget the drink, hot or cold, whatever suits your fancy. And remember, don't be afraid to tell your kids to bugger off for an hour. It's totally allowed to demand that they not bother you unless they are broken, dying, or bleeding for the entirety of the hour. Maybe help them to create their own zone up spaces, then walk away quietly while they're arranging it. You should probably get at least an hour to yourself by doing this. Just don't crumple any chip or cookie bags, and then they won't come running immediately. And remember to move all social media and mainstream news from your zone out time. Rinse and repeat as often as needed.
Oh, absolutely. All righty. Well, let's go along to the next little piece we got.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
Oh, absolutely. We have some interesting news pieces for you today. A couple of them. First one off here. WordPress.org has removed fake reviews for the Accessibility plugin. And this one here, while alone, it's not that big a deal. But this is another of the problems that have been plagued on the WordPress reviews section of all their plugins, which of course I'm banned from being there. I'm not allowed to be there anymore, folks. You want that story? Just go look for banned. Look up banned in the WP Plugins A-Z.com site, and you'll find out the whole reasons why I've been banned from WordPress.org. At any rate, it seems that people are manipulating the reviews process. Imagine that. It's a really interesting article, though, that talks about that and how they dug around and tried to clean it up and just move it into a better spot.
I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I've always just kind of assumed that reviews are pretty tampered with, and most of them are fake anyway. But
yeah, well, they're tampered with both ways.
Yeah.
They're tampered with oftentimes tampered with by the companies that run them. And
yes.
I know from my experience of dealing with the reviews process and other things that they're tampered with sometimes by the guys who behind the scenes at WordPress. I don't have absolute proof of that. That's my own opinion, allegedly, all of that sort of thing.
Your own theory?
Yeah, my own theory. All right, next article here. Good article. How to hide elements with CSS on your website. So this is a useful one. It's pretty basic if you're doing CSS, is to learn to write a little bit of CSS code and hide an element. And I use that fairly commonly throughout websites when I need to get rid of something and I just don't want to try and unwrite it from the code. You can just write a little short snippet of CSS and hide that element and it vanishes. The one key component to remember is it doesn't vanish from the search engine's view. It only vanishes from your user's view because it still stays in the code in the background. It's just hidden.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. So it's often a scam technique that's used by black hat SEOs. Oh, well, let's create all these elements and hide them, and the search engine will pick it up. Nobody else will ever see it. And search engines do penalize people for doing that when they catch them.
So if you are hiding, like say you were clicking on a site and you decide you need to hide a bunch of things, would the search engine penalize you for hiding those things?
Maybe, maybe not. Depends on what those things are that are being hidden.
Okay.
I have no idea how their artificial intelligence works because it's absolutely artificial. All right. WordPress 5.6.2 has released, and it has fixed that idiotic bug that has been annoying me across many sites. And that is the one that every time you tried to leave a page, it said, "Are you sure you want to leave this?" You know, when you know you've saved it. And they fixed a couple other bugs in the process too. Because WordPress 5.6.1 introduced that bug, so they had to remove it in 5.6.2. So go read about it. Make sure you update. If you went from 5.6 to 5.6.1, if you're using 6.1, you definitely want to hit 6.2. If you're still on 5.6, it's probably not that big a stress. Okay.
I don't know.
It seems they also, and this is an article out of Tips Tuesday from Blog Aid, Mariana. There's a spot in here where she talks about the 5.6.2 and that they improved some speed fixes in here. So you might want to read this article through. It's got some really great tips in there. Speed tips.
Okay, speed tips. Sorry, I thought you said that. I thought you said something else.
You thought I said speed or fees. That's what I heard out of your mouth just now. Yes, speed. SPEED. Okay, and next article I've got here for you is how to accept PayPal donations with the WooCommerce on your website. Well, at first I thought this was going to be a really cool, useful article, and then I found out they're just trying to sell me one of the expensive WooCommerce plugins. So take it for what it's worth. There's lots of ways to accept donations on your WooCommerce website by creating a donation product. They've written a specific product for it, but WooCommerce plugins, I avoid those at all costs unless it's the only plugin available because they charge such ludicrous amounts for their plugins. You know, so I quit using them. I quit using them when they screwed me over when they didn't grandfather in. Then they went and grandfathered in, but I still got the lifetime licenses for several plugins I bought, but I don't use them anymore. I didn't like the way they did things. The core WooCommerce, great, but all the add-on plugins, I don't like dealing with them and their service. Just my experience.
I thought that PayPal was just kind of an automatic part of WooCommerce. I didn't realize you needed to have a plugin or something to be able to use it.
Well, there's plugins to connect PayPal to WooCommerce, and WooCommerce comes with the default basic connection to PayPal because basic connection to PayPal is real easy. You got basic connections to PayPal through multiple plugins for doing multiple things, and that's just the basic. Well, we'll take you to PayPal, collect your money, return you back to the website. But there's lots of ways to do other things with PayPal for accepting payments. And this is one. It's a really useful article. If you want to buy the plugin, it can be a useful thing. It's just, like I said, it's a WooCommerce plugin. So WooCommerce charges way too much for their plugins, in my opinion. And then what I heard, I haven't personally used their service in several years, but last time I had to use their support, I didn't like it. All right. Next one here. This is an article about page speed, and they were comparing Themify versus Divi, Elementor, Astra, Avada, Ocean WP, and Beaver Builder, which is a really good report. It goes in and compares all these different themes and theme builders and sees what kind of page speeds they get from it. And it looked like out of the top, they've gotten some of them, Ultra Divi, Astra plus Elementor is right up at the top. It's in second place on here, which is what I use. I don't know what Ultra is. But it's a really good article to go compare, get an understanding. If you're still looking for a theme and a page builder system to use, you might want to examine data like this to get a better perspective on what it's all about.
It's a pretty neat article. I was reading through it.
Okay, the final.
A lot of information.
Yeah, it does have a lot of information, and it can help you understand what you're going through and trying to figure out. The final one I've got here for you is Bluehost misuses the WordPress trademark, reigniting the controversy over recommended host pages. Now, I'm not so well. They sort of misused it because what they did, of course, was they decided to claim in their advertising, there's a reason WordPress officially recommends Bluehost more than any other hosting service. Well, yes, they do, and no, they don't. But WordPress, and this has been an ongoing thorn in hosting companies, small hosting companies such as myself and others, where WordPress has recommended a select few hosting companies on a page off of WordPress.com to say if you're looking, or off WordPress.org, saying if you're looking for a place to self-host your WordPress website, these are companies we recommend. Now, they've always recommended the crappiest companies out there. The biggest, yes, but the crappiest. Yeah, that's an opinion too, just so folks know. So biggest and the crappiest. And the thing is, in the beginning, WordPress admitted to this on the page. The reason we recommend these is we worked out an agreement with these companies. Basically, these companies were paying them a fee for the recommendation. Then they took that away and said, no, we don't take any fees for it. But in this article, which I'm surprised this article got this much information into it, considering it comes from the Tavern, which is owned by Mullenweg, which is owned by Automatic, which is owned by WordPress.com, is that a recent test of the pages showed that the Bluehost link, the An hosting, the Hostican, the DreamHost, I can't believe they still recommend DreamHost. They have tracking in them that appear to be affiliate link tracking. You know, there's no proof on it, but if it's an affiliate link tracking, I mean, think about the affiliate payouts these guys get. Like, I was an affiliate marketer for a few of these. I had an affiliate account with Bluehost, Green Hosting, Green Geeks Hosting. I had affiliate marketings with it. Back in the day, before I worked on my own hosting company, I would make a couple, $300,000, $400,000, sometimes $500,000 a month just on my recommendations for affiliate links, because they have really big payouts. And all I can think of is how much money does WordPress make by recommending these? So this is my opinion and viewpoint on it, and some of the insinuations throughout this article is exactly the same, which is what surprised me so much that this was allowed to be published, because it is a Matt Mullenweg product here at the WordPress Tavern. So at any rate, that's the last I've got for the news. Any comments there, Missy?
Oh, I was just thinking about the fact that this managed to get out there. I'm wondering how it managed to get out there before he stopped it, or if he doesn't care.
Maybe he doesn't care. He's pretty arrogant nowadays from my perspective. He just doesn't care anymore. I mean, what he's pulled off in the last 2 years with his arrogance proves that that people are still gonna lay down in front of him and say, "Yes, Massa, use me to step over the puddle." You know, and unfortunately, a lot of us are kind of stuck. You know, we tried to escape the trap, but if we want to make a living, you know, and continue making a living until something else builds up, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I know the problem of being stuck between a rock and a hard spot. All right, well, let's move it along here, and
we just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Yes, let's talk about the donors, the people who support this show. All right, this is the segment here where we like to acknowledge those who have supported the show over the last week, or even longer if their emails don't get to us a bit sooner. We like to talk about the producers of the show, and in particular, like to start out talking a bit about the artwork for the show. And this week here, the artwork we have for episode 500, we have 4 pieces of artwork came in. And it came to a consensus on which artwork was good. I kind of like the first one here. We'll show them on the screen for folks to look at. First one here was the 500 euro note with, obviously, they went to the Rogues Tavern and snaked a picture from there to stuff into it, because there's a nice picture of me and my pipe and my hat. And I know that photo is really recent, and the only place it was. So that came from Angel Lamu over at Koa Digital. I really like that one. The Euro note, you might have done better, though, with it to get the Canadian $500 note, you know, versus the Euro note, because while we might sound European, we're still pretending that we're not. We're Canadians. So, but I really like that one. That one's kind of cool. Next one down here, just a nice simple episode 500 on an orange background. I kind of liked it. I liked it for its simplicity. Really cool. And this one came from Mike at savify.com. So thanks a lot, Mike. Greatly appreciate it. Next one here was the 500. Obviously, a small section of the 500 US dollar bill on the brown background. I really like the background and the old-fashioned kind of look to it. I liked it. I liked the work they did to the logos, greenifying the logos up. Getting rid of the colors in the logos. It was really kind of nice. I like this one too. But the final one we got, which is the winner, is the Happy 500 Schizophrenic Googly Eyed WP Plugins episode show art. And this one the previous one came from Greg's Graphics, Greg's Hordsworth. So thanks, Greg. Forgot to acknowledge you for that one. So this one here was submitted by Danielle Pays, and I really liked it for its total schizophrenia, the rabbits, the rats, the birds, was there a squirrel in there?
Everything?
No squirrel. I don't see a squirrel. We got cats.
No squirrel.
Frog. There we go. We got a frog too. Chicken. Hound dog.
And a turtle. I love turtles.
Yeah. Turtle. It's got all kinds of things going on here. It's basically acknowledging the fact that this has been one schizophrenic show for the last 499 episodes. So thanks a lot. Very much appreciate it. All the artists that submitted to us. I was really thrilled to get 4 different pieces of artwork from 4 different artists. That's like a new record for us for a show. And so thank you very much. Please, artists, continue to submit the artwork. Let me know if you have any troubles with the new art submission system. I'll get to them as rapidly as I can because I want to keep you using that so that we can start to categorize and organize the art in a much better way.
I really like seeing all this art. It's awesome.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys. Greatly appreciate it. And just to, the honorable mentions that go out. And where did I could have sworn I put them in this section, in this segment, the honorable mentions of the artwork, all their links. Oh, I put it at the beginning. That's where I put it. The beginning. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I put links to every artist in here. Daniel Pays, who won it, Angel Lemieux, Greg's Graphics, and Mike at savify.com. So thanks a lot, guys. One more time. Greatly appreciate it, and it's really appreciated to get the artwork in, and we look forward to seeing more of it in the coming year. Now, we do like to talk about the show producers, those who provide us with treasure. And this week here, we don't have anyone over $50. We just made a cutoff point at $50 some years back, and it was just easier. I know we'd never have enough. It was just to keep from reading a bunch of notes every week, or if notes came in, make it so that it was worthwhile for you to get your note read. And you send a note, we read it out. If it's got links in it, it gets links in the show notes. It's all good. Squirrel out there to Hemdian. And we greatly appreciate it. So there are a few of you out there that have a couple of small donations that come in every week or every month. And to those I'm truly grateful for. It's not a lot to put in the pocket, but it does sort of help offset, and know that there's some of you out there that feel the value for value and try to give some value back in whatever way you can, even if it's just a couple of bucks a week. So please keep doing that for us, folks. And then just...
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
There we go. Donate to the show. And I'm still pimping out my daughter, and it's now going to cost you $500 to get Amber's pretty mug here on the live stream. So until we see a $500 bill, we're not going to have her pretty mug in a video. Just her lovely voice is all you get.
No, I actually don't even think I know what a $500 bill looks like.
I've only seen one once. Actually, no, when I first moved to Canada, a $500 bill was a pretty common item used. $500 bills, $100 bills, they were commonly used. Now, it's like if you even try to use a $100 bill, they freak out at you now.
Yeah, they really do. They don't like it.
Yeah, it was because people started counterfeiting them for some reason. It's like, really, if you're going to counterfeit a bill, well, I guess if you're trying to make lots of money, but the most counterfeited bills are actually the $5 bill.
That makes sense, although I never thought about that. I figured it would be like the 20s.
No,
Everybody's got 20s.
Well, fives too, but fives, nobody thinks to look at a five because you're buying something with $5 bills. Unless you're buying $100 worth of stuff with $5 bills, then they get suspicious. But usually the $5 bills, they're buying something between, $5 and $25, and it's not unusual to hand out 5 fives, So yeah, $5 bill is the most counterfeited bill.
Wonderful advice from John.
Yeah, well, you own a retail business. You want to be aware of counterfeit money especially before it went plastic. It's a little harder to counterfeit now that it's plastic.
Didn't they just retire the $500 bill? I don't know.
Yeah, they probably did. They might have retired it. I haven't seen one in ages. They're getting rid of it because they're trying to chase cash out of the world. They don't want people to have cash because, if you got a $500 bill, you can gather 4 of them together, spend $1,000. But if you gather 10 100s, it's a lot more. And then you got to gather, how many was that, 25 fives or something? Or 25 20s? 50 20s? Don't know the number. My math's not working in my head. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all about chasing cash out of the world. All right, so we'll take cash, though. You can send cash. There is an address on the website that our P.O. box to send stuff to. So people can send us cards, letters, and I'm going to have to put that into the show notes so that I can remember to read that out for folks. And we do have a mailbox to send stuff to via the old snail mail methods. And they do work. It's a great way to send stuff. All right, well.
Even if sometimes the snail mail takes a crazy long time.
Well, right now it's taking about 25 days to get a letter from the States to here.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me because it used to only take, 7 to 12 days. And then, of course, during the COVID, the post office started whining and bitching. They said, well, you guys won't do this? Well, we'll show your ass. We'll slow your mail down to a freaking crawl.
Yeah, it's been interesting because my girls have pen pal in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is they send the girls like 3 letters at a time each, and they'll get the third one sent before they get the first one that was sent.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird.
The mail doesn't always make sense. But anyway, let's move it along. It is time to head into the meat potatoes part of the show, into the depths of plugin depravity. All right, first off, ClassicPress Options. What do we have for you? Well, I don't really have a lot in ClassicPress Options this week. Nobody was kind enough to send me a review. So just the usual stuff for it is the ClassicPress resource links, and that ClassicPress does still exist, and it is still crawling its way along at its current pace, and it'll probably sit at its current pace for probably a year or two until it gathers some momentum again. And I don't have the ability to jump on the ClassicPress train right now. When I jumped on it before, I had more ability. Right now, I don't. So anyway, I look forward to it coming back to life and doing something. In the meantime, I will still continue to keep it in as part of the show. WordPress segment, though, we do have some WordPress stuff for you. And this week here, you want to tell them what you'd planned for this, but of course, I blew it completely out of the water on you.
I had initially planned that we find the longest titles possible and see who could find the best longest titles. But unfortunately,
go ahead.
Unfortunately, you couldn't find anything longer than like 3 words. So
yeah, I know. I was having a hell of a time finding long titled ones. For some reason, I'm searching. If I go search for short titled ones, I'm guaranteed to find long. If I search for long ones, I'm guaranteed to find short. So I just surrendered and said to hell with it. But I looked, and it turns out that Amber has done a great job. But the first one I've got for you, it's not very long, but it's more than 2 words, and it is the animated Hamburger for Elementor. And this is just a cute little plugin. Basically, this just adds a little bit of pizzazz to your mobile menu by making it a bit animated and providing some eye candy for the hamburger menu. It's not too bad overall, but I suspect it's going to be just another design fad similar to the one I encountered the other day. This was with a client I was doing some work with, helping him out, and he's taking over a website and he's doing some marketing for it. And it turns out the website was built using the fad of single page, everything on one front page using a menu that you can't adjust and all the content in one spot. And that was a great fad. It turned out to be very piss poor for SEO. So at any rate, I expect this is just another design fad that's going to flow through. It is kind of cute. Makes the hamburger jiggle around and pop a menu up for you when you use it in mobile devices, but I didn't find it overly exciting. Simple enough to use, but not overly exciting. Go check it out if you're interested. The animated hamburger helper. I want to call it the Hamburglar. For some reason, I look at it, I go, I want to call it the animated Hamburglar for Elementor. And I give it a 3 dragon rating.
Okay, so my first long title one is all-in-one floating contract form, call, chat, and 50+ social icon tabs, My Sticky Element.
Wow, say that all in one breath one more time.
Yeah. So this is actually a pretty okay one.
Yeah.
It's if you need a contact form with style and many options to it, this is actually a pretty good one. Once you activate it, you go into the option on the left, My Sticky Element. It's amazing how they can condense that huge long title into just My Sticky Element. And then you get to set up. The form looks pretty good, and in the free version, they have a decent amount of options, including MailChimp and MailPoet for integrations. In the title itself, they claim to have over 50 social icons, though you only seem to be able to have use of them if you go pro. So that was a little mean of them. And it's a little odd when you go into the dashboard of this plugin, because they have this pop-up video, and once you press play, it just continues to play even when you press the X. That was weird. And there's a little interaction bubble where you can talk to someone online immediately. That was also kind of weird. And they have a section with just their plugins for you to get to, and then of course the upgrade part. But it was interesting that they have an entire section added into their little menu there for you to look at all of their plugins. I don't think I've actually seen that before. Is that like a common practice I just haven't noticed? Maybe
It might be. I don't know.
Okay, well. I just thought those were kind of weird things. I've never really seen those two things on a little dashboard menu before for a plugin. But in general, it's a pretty good plugin. Go and check this crazy long name of a plugin out. I rate this at 4 dragons.
Very nice. Okay, the next one I've got for you. Nice, simple, and short. Accept Bitcoin. Everyone should accept Bitcoin. Well, it turns out I'm finally going to have to get around to reopening my Bitcoin wallet. Yes, I created one of those way back in the day and made the mistake of not buying Bitcoin when it was 3 cents each when I first created my Bitcoin wallet. God, do I regret that now.
Lots of people do.
Yeah, well, I created a wallet. I meant to go buy some coin. It was actually, well, I don't think it was 3 cents. I think it was like 15 cents each. And because I did see it was useful, but then I started examining. I'm thinking, well, I can't figure out how to get people to pay me, how to use it. And then I set it aside and I pretty much forgot about it. But I did trip across my paperwork because back in those days, in fact, I still do it for some things. When I need to protect something, I will print out the information and stick it in a file. Because you can't destroy paper while you can destroy digital stuff. Easy. Paper, you have to burn it. So anyway, I found all the information on how to recover my Bitcoin wallet, so I won't have to go create a new one. So I'll create my Bitcoin wallet and get it opened up again. Well, this is a really simple, straightforward plugin to use on your WooCommerce website that allows you to accept Bitcoin payments without having to use a third party. It just takes the money, the Bitcoins, from wherever people want to send it and pay you, and sends it directly to your Bitcoin wallet. Very easy and straightforward to set up. Very simple plugin, which of course, allows you to start accepting Bitcoin. And yes, for the good and the bad that it is, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are here to stay, and they're starting to be used. I don't know when they'll actually be used for payment purchases. Right now, people are just using them for a store of wealth, but you will get the occasional person pay you in Bitcoin or donate Bitcoin to you. So if you're looking for a simple way to set up your WooCommerce site for Bitcoin, go check this one out. It is Accept Bitcoin, made by the anonymous Bitcoin guys. And I give it a 5 dragon rating.
All right, so this is my longest title that I was able to find. Multi-currency for WooCommerce, the best free currency exchange plugin, runs smoothly on WooCommerce 4.x.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's actually quite an amazing plugin if you're using WooCommerce.
Yeah.
And you find yourself with the need to translate between various currencies. In the free version, there are a lot of different currencies, and you can choose more than one at a time for your customers to switch between. It shows up on the front page as a little sidebar, and the customer can choose which currency to exchange the prices to, and can also check out with that currency, which I thought was a pretty cool little addition. You can set it up to auto-detect where the person is from, so that you don't even have to put up the option on the front end for the customers. But I personally think that it's a great idea to have the options up there on the front end for the customers, because even my phone can't always tell where I am, whether I'm in Canada or the US, because we're so close to the border. And I know I'm often tripping over American sites instead of Canadian ones, even when I'm searching specifically Canadian sites. So I think it's a great idea.
Oh.
The premium...
Go ahead, keep going.
The premium version offers up a lot more options, though the free version gets you started pretty well. I can see a lot of usefulness in this plugin. Go and check it out. I rate it at 4 dragons.
Very cool. Well, it'll be useful to have something to help your website convert currencies for people so they can figure out what they're going to pay in if they end up paying in their local currency. Thinking of currencies, while we're still in that, before I hit my next one, which is similarly related, a couple of comments we had here. It looks like we got a note from myself here. I'm an amazing typist and when I'm not looking. As of January 1st, 2021, the $1, the $2, the $25, the $500, and the $1,000 bills from every Bank of Canada series are no longer legal tenders. So they have retired all those bills. And of course, you made the comment. We used to have $25 bill. I never seen the $25 bill myself. I didn't even know it existed.
Neither did I.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, so let's roll it along. And Bitcoin, continuing along the lines of Bitcoins, the last one I've got here for you today is called the Crypto Converter Widget. And this is a really simple one you can pop onto your website. And once you install it, what it does, it allows you to determine what is the denomination of any cryptocurrency as far as US dollars go, or in some other dollars. We'll go with the US dollar one here. You could get the Bitcoin one, which was as of right now is $48,000. Or
wow.
Ethereum, which is the next most popular cryptocurrency, is $1,500. But they got them all, man. They even got Dogecoin. I don't know why everyone keeps calling it Dogecoin. You know, it's either it's Dogecoin, actually, DOGE. They call it Dogecoin or Dogecoin for some reason, but it's at 5 cents, which if you'd have bought it like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago before it went insane, you could have bought it at 0.000007 cents.
Oh, wow.
You know, is what it would have been worth. So you could have bought a couple of bucks of them and now you'd have $10 in your hand. So at any rate, that's just a little fun of it. Really cute little one. If you're into cryptos and you want to have something to wow the people, it's like, what's your crypto worth? Go check it here. Throw this plugin into your site, slap this on your website somewhere, and people can figure out what cryptocurrencies are worth. And it's a really cute plugin, and I kind of like what it does. And because cryptocurrency is all the rage right now, I'm going to give this one a 5 dragon rating. Go check it out.
So I think I can explain why people call it Doge.
Mm-hmm.
Since about 2016,
Nobody can pronounce anything.
The word Doge instead of dog or Dodge, it seems to be interchangeable for Dodge and dog, but especially for dog. People say Doge. They've been doing it a lot, especially people who are about my age and younger. It seems to be some kind of fad. I don't really get it.
No, that's them trying to change the world. Bitcoin diamonds. They're worth $1.04. All right, let's move it along.
All right, so the last one I've got is bulk edit image, alt tag, caption, and description WordPress Media Library Helper by Codexin. That one is a bit of a tongue twister. I had to practice that. So I feel like you actually covered this one. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to find it when I went searching.
I don't remember this. I probably covered something similar to it.
And so I'm thinking probably something similar, not this one exactly. What this plugin is designed to do is to edit a large number of your media's alt text and meta at once, or to delete all at once. It's really quite simple. You just activate it, go into your dashboard's media settings under your library tag, open it up in the list mode, turn on edit mode, and once you've done that, you can work on everything either all at once or one by one in a straight line on down the list. Although be sure to turn edit mode off once you're done, so it doesn't get all mucked up.
Yeah.
And I could see how this could save a lot of time. I'm pretty sure that just about everyone out there is guilty of putting on like 10 to 20 pictures before they find and decide on the right one, and then moving on to the next bit of the site. And this could be pretty useful for cleaning all that up or organizing someone else's mess that was left behind on the way.
Oh, absolutely.
And best of all, this is entirely free. I highly recommend that you go and check this one out. I rate it at 5 dragons.
Very cool. Okay. After this, we'll get into some old-timey show stuff. So this show currently still brought to you by... Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high-quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down. Absolutely high-quality web hosting that everybody should be investing in. And I got to go find something that I was looking for here because I want that link there opened up. And then we got one piece of customer feedback before we jump into, and we'll have to practice this for the next shows because I'm pretty sure we didn't do it entirely at all during this show. This is some listener feedback. It goes, "Hey, Amber and John, I just wanted to make a small request in how you announce the plugin scores. You guys currently say this plugin, which I gave a 4 to, this plugin, which I gave a 5 to. It sounds weird when you say 2 after the numbered score because it sounds like you're announcing another number. I would like to suggest this plugin, which I rated 4 dragons, or this plugin scored 5 dragons. That's it. Keep up the great work, Jay." All right, Jay. Greatly appreciate it. I'll endeavor to try and do that. I read this a couple times before putting it in there, and I was going to try and do that this show, but my brain still didn't change. I got 500 episodes of habits to break here, so we'll see what I can do. What about you, Amber?
How did he suggest we say it again?
Well, instead of saying I gave a 5 dragon 2 instead of this plugin which I gave a 5 to. That would be at the end, which
I see.
Part
okay.
Of it. And instead of saying that, say the plugin which I rated a 4 dragon. So being more precise in the words is what it boils down to. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the history of WP Plugins A to Z. This is a milestone episode, and every milestone episode, I've done something like this. You can go back to episode 100, 200, 300, and 400, and you'll find some of this stuff. In fact, some of the stuff I'm going to play here, I stole from episode 300 or 200 because I couldn't figure out where I put the original stuff. Now, one of the things we got to put in here, it may get me in trouble, may not, but I'm going to play a bit of it. This was the original opening for WP Plugins A to Z, and it lasted for about 100 episodes, give or take.
Dragon has come to our village today. We've asked him to leave, but he won't go away. Now he's met with our king and they've worked out a deal. No homes will he burn and no crops will he steal.
There you go. I may or may not
It's
get
actually a pretty neat opening.
Yeah, well, I used that from about episode 15 or 20 to somewhere around episode 100. And every once in a while, I pull it out of the fire and play it up. Here's a little snippet from episode number 1.
What we're going to be doing, of course, as the title says, WordPress plugins from A to Z, is we're going to be covering WordPress plugins. Now, with over 11,000 plugins available for WordPress now, it's not that hard to find enough plugins to cover every single letter of the alphabet, at least a few times over. So I reckon I'll have episodes to go for week after week after week for quite some time to come.
Imagine that. There was only 11,000 plugins. The other thing is I just realized when I was listening to it in my headphones, I don't know if anyone could hear it. Did you hear the music bed underneath?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, really? Really? What the fuck was I thinking? I was like, oh my God.
At least you didn't drown yourself out with the music bed.
But I also had that nice NPR voice, nice and subtle and sexy, close to the microphone. It's kind of soft and it's like, oh wow. It's like, holy shit. But basically, I was in radio mode when I did that because I was still 10 years ago. I was only 10 years out of my course on radio, so I was still using the stuff I thought I learned from when I took the radio training, which was always kind of fun. All right, here we go. We got another clip from episode 21. This was with my first guest host, Laura. She was on the show, so we're going to play a little bit of this one here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugins total that we're going to cover and talk about. I'll say a little bit about them. Laura can say a little bit about them. And we'll see if we come to heads on whether we agree on that. How's that sound to you, Laura?
Sounds good.
All right, so the first one on the list is Ads Manager. You researched this one, Laura. Tell us what you found on Ads Manager.
This one was really easy to set up. It just had a setting for it. It just created it over in the settings for the ad manager, and you just put the ad code. Mm-hmm. I went to ClickBank and made a couple of just quick, easy ads and put in there. And it would show it either at the top of the ad or at the bottom. You could put it in to put it at the top or the bottom or both, and then above and below the buddy press. Oh, and then it had a floating one down at the bottom that would just pop up in the bottom of the screen. That one was kind of interesting, I thought.
Yeah,
There we go. Wow, and I'm listening to that and I'm going, holy crap, the noise level. Yeah. Not the background noise, the TV in the background, the other stuff, the static. It's like, oh, it's horrendous. But it was great, and Laura used to do a really great job. She was a co-host with me for about 30 or 40 episodes, and it was really kind of cool. But this just gives you an idea on where the show has come from when you listen to it. And even now, when I listen to it, the sound is not always 100% perfect, but I work very hard to give good, high-quality sound now. so that it doesn't sound so bad. And that the background noise, like there's still background noise here, but I finally learned what a noise gate is and how to use one.
Hemdian said, yeah, but you need a mic shield because of the plosives.
Of the plosives, explosives, maybe. Oh, the pop filter, P filter. Well, I've got a pop filter.
Okay.
I've got a P filter on my mic. That's all. It's for the pop open when you say P. That's a sudden burst of air. If you don't have the little foamy thing on your microphone, it comes through as a pop. All right,
okay.
Here's the final one. I pulled this from episode 42. This was my opening bit on episode 42.
We are now on episode 42. And for you true geeks out there, everyone knows what 42 is. It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Yes, this is the show that is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. But what is the question?
There you go.
That's you?
That was me. Isn't that horrid?
You sound so different there.
That's because the microphone and the recording was really piss poor. It wasn't recording my true voice. I listened to it and I
It
go,
sounded so different. Like I barely even recognize you, and you're my dad.
yes, well, that's the problem of recording with I was probably using like a headset microphone and straight to my recording software. I wasn't running it through anything, and I didn't have it through a mixer, and I didn't have it through filters or anything else. It just straight to it.
Okay.
So that's really all I was able to pull, because I forgot to pull this stuff last night. I was pulling it this morning. I was getting sidetracked. I had other things to do. And there's so much more. If you want more entertainment, just go check out some of the early shows. The entire back catalog of WP plugins is available over at johnoverall.com. WP Plugins A-Z.com didn't get created until around episode 170 or so. And so that's only got episodes 170 forward on it. But for all 500 episodes, you can find them all over at johnoverall.com. They're buried. They're not up in front center anymore. They're still on the site, though. You know, we really don't want that stuff going out there. Sooner or later, somebody's going to try and use that stuff against me. But I just wanted everyone to know, it's like this has been quite the journey for me, because I've been doing this show since October 2010. And I'm coming up on 11 years of doing this show, and I really have only taken off the occasional week here or there. I think there was one point where I skipped 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and that was due to conflicts of life, health, or other things were wrong at the time. But for the most part, it's only been a week here or there. This show here was the second WordPress podcast to start. It was the second podcast to get listed in iTunes for WordPress. And every other shows that came after me, there were several that started within weeks of me creating mine. The first show was the WP Tavern Podcast, back when it was owned by, I can't remember the guy's name now, back when he owned the tavern, and he had a great idea, and he was more energetic than me. He was single and had the ability to go from WordCamp to WordCamp interviewing people. In fact, people got scared because he was such a good interviewer, because they got scared when he showed up if he was going to interview him, because he was so good and poignant about his questions. And his early shows were just brilliant. They were a great inspiration. But he ran into troubles, and he ended up shutting down his podcast for several years. And then he started it back up, started a tavern back up, and then he sold the tavern off to Matt Mullenweg, because his life changed and he needed to go in a different direction in his life. So that leaves me as the longest continuous running WordPress podcast. Because while it's been focused on plugins, we've also brought in other things, lots of other things, and I've done interviews. In essence, I've done more than 500 episodes, because I have 75 numbered interview shows, and I have numerous other interview shows that are not numbered. So I have over 600 plus episodes that are related to this show alone. So it's been a really, really great long-term thing. And it's been the reason I started in the beginning was to get my business off the ground. And this is part of the reason why I continue it today, is to keep it in so people know what my business is.
It is a pretty awesome little podcast that you had going for so long. I really like it.
Yeah. Well, it's time for you to make it your own. Try to get more stuff in it and wrest it away from your old man. Okay, well, this is it. That's all we got for the history and the trip down memory lane for WP Plugins A-Z. If you want to catch more of it, go listen to the older shows. Let's bounce around here and go along to...
It's a contest, WordPress plugins from A to Z. Whoa, stop for free, yeah!
Enter them for free. The contest from WP Plugins A-Z. And what we got this week, we're still on the simple giveaway, or not simple giveaways, the unlimited, the brain cloud, reverse, reel it in, give me a line. Give me a line. All right. Our contests are powered by the Simple Giveaways plugin. These guys are kind enough to provide us with the premium plugin to run our contest. So thanks a lot to them. We have a contest that is being carried over for another week. And this is due to we haven't gotten the next one written up yet. Hopefully soon. I do like to thank Charlie for coming to the A-Z show and getting these contests brought to life and providing them week after week. And right now, this contest could use a few more entries into it. So I decided to extend it another week out for folks to give them another chance to enter, get a few more entries into it. I'd be excited to see it. Remember, folks, if you haven't already entered the contest, I know a few of you from last week have entered, please enter it this week and sign up for the contest. Yes, you'll be signed up on our email list, but we don't send out a bunch of junk. It's only the weekly newsletter. We haven't quite figured out how to do our marketing yet and flood you with new emails until you unsubscribe or buy everything we're selling, whichever comes first. This week's contest is the Equalized Digital Accessibility Checker Pro plugin. Really great plugin. It's a comprehensive accessibility scanning tool that allows you to scan your post to see if it's accessibility compliant on your website, the ADA and WCAG 2.1 compliancy. Really great plugin. This is the license for this is an annual license. It's valued at $149, and you'll want to check it out. You'll want to find out more about this plugin. Go check out the interview I did with Amber Hind from Equalized Digital, where we talk about what this plugin does and why it was created and how it helps people out. So go check it out. And remember, folks, these contests take time for us to track down the plugins authors, get the plugin author to agree to send us a license, to get the contest written up, to get it promoted. All of that takes time and effort. You don't have to send us money, but at least send us your support by subscribing to the contest. Even if you don't need that plugin or you don't see a need for that plugin, maybe you can give it away. Maybe you can return it back to us. We can use it again. Up to you. But hey, show your support for the show by entering the contest. All right. The plugins we covered this episode were, I covered up the animated hamburger. I still want to call it the Hamburger. The animated hamburger for Elementor, for which I rated it a 3. The Accept Bitcoin, for which I rated it a 5. The Crypto Converter Widget, for which I rated it a 5. How's that?
Oh man, you did awesome, but I'm dreading saying all of my titles in a row.
Well, it'll be entertaining. I'll go grab a cup of coffee and a quick nap, and you'll be done by then.
So, all-in-one floating contact form, call, chat, and 50-plus social icon tabs, My Sticky Elements, I rated it 4.
The My Sticky Elements just gets me, man.
Multi-currency
Sounds so dirty.
for WooCommerce.
It sounds so dirty.
Multi-currency for WooCommerce, the best free currency exchange plugin, runs smoothly on WooCommerce 4.x. I rated it 4. Bulk, edit, image, alt tag, caption, and description, WordPress Media Library Helper by Codexin. I rate it 5.
Very good. Very nice. All right, couple of quick reminders. I said it. I actually caught myself saying It's been so long since I've been in that bad habit. It took me a long time to break the habit. All right. Next thing I got here for you is reminders. And there is no meetup planned at the moment. I've still got I think I should go get a refund on the room or figure out how I get the room. I've got 6 sessions of a room I prepaid for that was taken away from me last year about this time.
Huh.
You know, so they still owe me money or owe me space in the rooms. I got to figure out what to do with that. Anyway, no meetups planned at the moment. And I do want to let everyone know that I am looking at a combined meetup for midsummer sometime that will combine the Tavern, No Agenda, and WP plugins. So I will announce it to all of them. So there will be a limit on the number of people, and it's probably going to be held up at the Oasis. So keep that one in your brain. There is an event happening real soon, though, and it's coming from the Hike Club for Men, and you can go check that out. It's a hike around the lake, and it's on March 14th, a Sunday. Starts at 11 a.m., and it's a hike around Thetis Lake, so it's for those local here in the Victoria area. So anyone that'd like to join, make sure you register for it, and let me know. I look forward to seeing anyone show up there. All right. That's all we got there. It is time for us to head off into...
It's question and answer time.
With Amber. All right, this is question and answers with Amber. And remember, we'll split this right in the middle, and half of it goes into YouTube. The other half is where we close out the show. So off you go, Amber. What's your first question today?
Before I get to the questions, I always start out with a note that if you have any questions and you would like to have them asked on here, please send them in to me. And my email is amber@wppro.ca. I'll read them out, give you credit if you want. I won't give you credit if you don't want, but I can read them out on here and my dad can answer. So my first question is, security plugins work for your site, but what if one of your registered users has malware? Can this affect your site? Or does them not being an administrator save your site from getting this?
Okay, I'm not fully comprehending the question in that, security plugins are protecting your site from malware getting in. And registered users have no administrative access to do anything or add anything to your website except in certain instances. Now, registered users may, if a plugin has a flaw in it, and hackers use this, they register on your site, there's a flaw, they use the flaw to gain themselves administrative access and then insert the malware into your site. So registered user would usually protect your site. The security plugin may or may not protect you from a plugin with a flaw that can be used to compromise a site. I did have it. It happened earlier this year. One of the membership plugins I used had an unknown flaw that was discovered that allowed someone to register for the site, then run a piece of code, a command somewhere that upped their permission level to administrator and allowed them to screw with your site. So you're kind of a double-edged thing here. Security plugins are there to protect your site. Allowing people to register on your site is a risk. It's always going to be a risk anywhere, as far as hackers are concerned, because they're always trying to find ways to bypass stuff, and they're always looking for flaws.
Well, when I thought of this question, I had been thinking about how if you go onto a website and it has issues, you can catch the malware and whatnot from going onto that site and bring it onto your computer. And I was thinking about whether or not it could go the other way around.
Oh, if their computer's infected, whether it can infect your site. Well, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. No? And even malware on a website infecting your computer is not directly easy. The program has to be downloaded and installed on your website. It used to be easier, but it's not as easy as it used to be. It's gotten a little harder to do. So,
okay, well, yeah. I remember screwing up computers when I was younger by going to not exactly safe sites.
Well, yeah, that's because
usually where I could get free music.
It used to be easy to install malware onto people's computers and viruses onto computers. It's gotten a little harder with the firewalls that are used and the antivirus programs that are used on computers and everything. Now it's harder. It's not impossible, but it's harder, and it will never be impossible because a determined hacker, like a determined thief, will always get through the lock.
Yeah.
Because locks only slow them down. It doesn't stop them. And antivirus software and anti-malware programs, they only slow them down. They don't stop them. Anyone who's truly determined will get through. Whether they get through before they're caught is another thing. That's the big thing, is usually when they're brute forcing something, like someone trying to bash in your door, you generally hear they're coming. And that's what they're doing. They're brute forcing their way in now. It's not as easy to slip in the back doors because there's fewer and fewer back doors left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things that you can try to be worried about, but you just have sleepless nights trying to worry about something that may or may not be out of your control.
But I was mostly curious as to whether or not it was possible. But keeping people from signing up to your site, say like you just had it as a view-only site, does that make it a little safer then?
Well, yeah,
like a little harder to get it to.
That makes it safer. But is your site meant to be interactive, such as WP plugins and the ability for users to upload artwork? That makes it interactive. Whereas previously they had to upload the artwork with just a form. That was an absolute protection. Now they can upload artwork to the site, though I have put limitations on what can be uploaded, and that will prevent a lot of things from happening. But
it's only good to know or have a better idea on how it does and does not work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my next question.
Mm-hmm.
How does one protect their pictures from being grabbed up, other than watermarks, off of their sites? I've come across sites that simply, they just don't allow you to save the pictures on the site. You can't right-click, you can't do anything.
Yeah, they're diluting themselves.
I mean, there's always a way to take a screenshot.
No. You got to remember, one of the interesting things that these people seem to forget, and most people don't know this to begin with, which you probably don't know because you're asking the question. Every time you visit a website on your computer, your browser downloads all those images to the cache file on your computer.
Really?
So you can actually go into the cache file for your browser and find those images. The other thing the other thing that can be done is you can go in to virtually any site up there and show people real quickly. Let's help people do that. If you use a browser such as Firefox, where you can add the menu up at the top for the file, edit, view, history, bookmarks menu, the old-fashioned kind of menus. There's a thing under file that says save page as. And when you click Save Page As, you can save that page to a folder on your computer, and it will download every asset that is needed for that page. That includes all the JavaScripts, all the jQueries, all the images, all the CSS files, everything. It downloads all the assets that are needed to build that page. It downloads them all right to a file. Including if they've got, I use that when I subscribe to a few things where they put up this video and you can't stop the video, you can't fast forward, you can't do anything because they give you no blade control. So usually what happens is I say, screw this, I save page as, save it to a folder, and then I go into the folder and I go find the video, and then I play the video on one of my local things so I can fast forward, move, and do what I want. It's like you get everything. They can't stop it. They're diluting themselves. There is no way to stop anyone from downloading those images. Watermarking is the only thing that will help protect your images to an extent. And the thing is like a determined thief will just clean out your watermark from your image because it can be done.
Yeah.
So they just can't stop it. It's impossible to stop. I used to try and do this stuff because for some reason I was under the delusion that I could protect my stuff with copyright. And I realized, no, I can't really. So finally I just went, okay, screw it. Take what you want. Have your fill at it. If you take something, if it's something really valuable, you don't put it on the internet. It's like photographers selling their images. They put up a really piss poor quality image for people to see, and if someone wants the high quality one, they got to pay for it. And that's the only way to do it. You just got to protect the high quality, and you put up piss poor quality.
Hemdian said there's a plugin to stop grabbing pics by novices. The no right click images plugin.
Yes, that's that's all it is. It's by novices, people who don't know what can be done. Because anyone who learns what can be done fully realizes that everything on the internet is available. I used to have a program. I don't even know what I did with it, but I had a program that was a web page scraper. Beautiful program. I used to use it a lot. I'd send it after a website and I could scrape the entire contents of their website and put it into a file. And I could clone their website by visiting their website. I could clone every single page. And I used to use it a lot to collect data. I've got hundreds of web pages from way back when, which has since been wiped from the internet, but I can't remember what hard drive they're stored on. As we were discussing earlier, me and my data storage problems. So yeah, there's really nothing that can be done. You can't protect it.
Alrighty. My last question. It looks like it got split into two.
Oh, this is.
I have one more.
Oh, this is two question or one question here. It looks like two.
That's because I wanted to add a little background first as to why I had this question.
Well, then you ask the question, and then we'll close out the show and come back to it.
All right. First, little background. The other day, I learned that no Walmart was able to properly connect to Western Union, and that this had been an ongoing issue for a while now. And it seems to me like there are a few systems out there right now that can't figure out how to shake hands properly. I've seen mention that this could be due to PHP transition. Or is this just a regular sort of issue that large companies like Walmart and Western Union have more often than we little people know about?
Okay, well, I'm going to close out the show. We'll come back, reiterate the question, and talk a bit about it. So those of you out there, make sure you tune into the YouTube channel for this great answer coming up. And I'm going to let my girl take us out of here and enjoy my shot.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa-z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa-z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty then. All right, back to the question. The systems out there you're talking about, I haven't heard much about this. I've heard little bits and pieces here and there, and some of this stuff is pertaining to the Great Reset, shut it off and restart it again, or it could just be PHP transition. I couldn't see them transitioning to PHP for a system such as Western Union. Western Union would be running on a highly legacy computer system, something probably written in COBOL or Fortran, going way back, because Western Union's been around a long time. They've been computerized since the 70s and 80s, back in the days of the COBOL and Fortran writers. Language codes and modern languages. I'm not even sure what the modern computer language is that they're using now. They might not be compatible with each other. They might be using translators between the two. I have no idea. This one here is it used to be stuff I was well into and I was constantly a part of. But as I've gotten into just focusing on WordPress, I quit focusing on everything else, and I quit focusing on anything outside of PHP and CSS. And PHP is more of a language for driving website design and website stuff than it is my perspective. It's probably used in many other applications. But I don't know. This one here is kind of an interesting one to me. Walmart and Western Union would be probably on two separate languages.
Hemdian said that he's going to take a guess that the issue might have been because of TLS 1.0 being depreciated or something related.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it's causing him problems in his day job.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know they'd finally depreciated TLS 1. That means I may start to face problems because my servers still recognize TLS 1. And I can't remember what TLS stands for. Shit. What the hell is it? It's the SSL. It's an SSL security protocol. I know that. But I don't even know what they're at. I haven't even looked at my servers lately. It's like a lot of my server work's managed by my tech support team now. And I know that I had a problem a couple of years ago with it, but I didn't know TSL1 had been completely depreciated. And that would create problems. That would create problems because what they're doing is they're sharing security certificates, and if they're sharing it in the wrong protocol, that'll break the connection. So I could see that as being a problem.
Okay, I'm a little ignorant here. What is TLS1?
I have no idea. I'm going to have to go look it up. All right, let's go look something up live. We're going to do it live. Live.
Hemdian says TLS 1.0 and 1.1 got shut down.
Transport layer security. Oh, so they shut them down completely. Ho. I didn't know that. Yeah, transport layer security. That is the security protocols that are being used to transmit the data securely. That was the early TSS. That was the early protocol used for encryption on the internet.
Which could explain why Western Union would be having a problem. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah, they would be using the early protocols. It's like my servers, I still got it. So TLS 1 problem. Yeah, it was first defined in 1999. And so now, if it's been completely unable to update to enable TLS default secured, disabling TLS 1.1.1. Yeah, so they're disabling the protocols, which means a lot of shit's gonna break on the internet for a while until everyone moves across to the more updated versions. And some programs will have to be rewritten to accept the new versions. So yeah, that can create tons of problems there.
Encryption of COM channel used by APIs, Hemdian says.
Yeah, well, that's the data transmission protocols.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to create all kinds of grief out there. I can
Oh,
see
that
it.
should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining for a while. Well, just wait till they finally force us to give up our IPv4 addresses. That's going to be a truly entertaining day on the internet. When everyone's forced to use IPv6. I am not looking forward to that day. I am hoping to hell I'm retired from this industry by the time they force everyone to move to IPv6. Because that's going to be a nightmare. I mean, they've been trying to migrate everyone slowly over the last several years. I mean, considering the internet has ran out of IPv4 addresses a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
wouldn't it make more sense to just keep people on 4 as well as have them on 6?
Well, that's what's happening right now. The problem is it creates problems occasionally.
Oh.
It does create problems occasionally when somebody's, transmitting on using an IPv4 and then they hit an IPv6 and it hits an IPv4 system that doesn't recognize 6. There's a whole lot that goes on in there. It's like a lot of this stuff is like my brain just got tired of it, of staying ahead of the curve. It's a really hard industry to stay ahead of the curve on. You have to be constantly reading and learning. And that's the tough thing about the internet. If you're in this business, you're constantly reading, you're constantly learning, you're constantly applying. You have to be reading and reading and reading to stay ahead in whatever particular chunk of the industry. I used to be able to keep ahead of it all, but it was a whole lot easier. There was less data. Now there's so much data, I had to specialize.
I'm still playing catch up, man.
Yeah, you got a lot of catching up to do, man. Yeah, basically just don't go to sleep for the next 5 years. You'll be fine.
Quick question. I have some pages that use a tabbed container block, but I want a print option that shows each tab content consecutively. The tab block I use doesn't seem to have this feature explicitly. Is there any way to do this?
Well, the only way I could think about doing that would be to write a separate chunk of CSS with a link and have that page reload when someone says print, and it reloads it instead of having it, because tab stuff is nothing but CSS blocks that are stuffed into a tab. And what you need to do is untab the blocks so that they all show up on a page. But there would be a way, and I don't know the code, but I know it can be done, is to write a CSS code that if someone clicks print this page, it's like printing a recipe. When you hit print page, it takes you to a brand new page and reloads the menu without all the extraneous crap. And that would be the only way I could think of to do that exact problem. It'd take a little bit of code writing to do. And it'd be basically writing a chunk of CSS to rewrite that page and then reload that page with the new CSS. And then they could print the page as one long page. That's the only thing I could think of. Hope that helps, Hemdian. And we'll give you 30 seconds because you won't hear that until I'm already babbling on about something else.
It takes a little while for the voice to transfer through the headphones to the internet.
No. There's a 30-second delay between the time what I process here and is sent to the stream on YouTube. YouTube has an automatic 30-second delay on it.
Can CSS disable div tags?
Yes, it can. Absolutely. Because div tags are part of CSS for the most part. So yeah, it can be done. I've seen it done. I just can't remember when or where, but I have seen it in the past. Is taking a tab chunk of text and reloading it into a page to where it's just stacked on top of each other.
So essentially, muck about with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Babble away. All right, I'll babble away. All right, well, that's pretty much it. I'm going to call this a wrap. It's 1:22, and we've had a little slightly longer than usual show. And I want to escape out of here, get up island to the oasis, and play in my greenhouse. So I'm off for the weekend, folks. You guys have yourselves a good one. I'm going to take us out of here with a little bit of Days of Thunder. Uh-oh. Why aren't you playing?
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, that's all we got. Make sure you like this video, folks. We greatly appreciate it. That's all I've got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oop. Adios, mofo.
Mhm.